the concept of distribution in the syllogism. So today we're going to present in this short video what distribution is and how it matters in a syllogism. Remember, a syllogism is made of three propositions, two premises and one conclusion. Now, the parts of a proposition are the quantifier, the subject, the copula, and the predicate. A quantifier is all or some. The subject is the subject, so the term. The copula is the verb, the link between the subject and the predicate is the other term. So, for example, all human beings are mortal. All is the quantifier. Human beings, the subject, are the copula, mortal, the predicate. So, what it matters now in this analysis is that you focus on the subject and the predicate because they are the terms in this proposition. And the terms are those you have to watch for when you decide about distribution or undistributed. So what is distribution? The definition of distribution is a term, either a subject or a predicate, is distributed if it refers to the whole class it names. So, in the proposition all human beings are mortal, the term all human beings is the subject that is distributed to the entire class of it names. So, the name of this class is all human beings, okay? And when I say all, I refer to the entire class, to all the members of this class. So the subject of the proposition, all human beings are mortal, is distributed, the subject. So next is undistribution, of course. In the same proposition, the predicate mortal, although it names a class, it does not refer to the whole of the class. It does not refer to the entire class. In fact, for example, it does not cover the animals, which are also mortal. Therefore, the predicate in this proposition is not distributed. Right. So we can look at the definition of undistribution, and a term is undistributed if it refers not to the whole class it names, but to only a part of the class. As we have seen, all human beings are mortal. Mortal is the undistributed term. It does not refer to the entire class it names. Now, the fourth type of categorical proposition we have seen already in the previous videos are proposition A, type E, type I, and type O. A, universal affirmative. All human beings are mortal. E, universal negative. No dogs has wings. Particular affirmative. Some is called Socrates. Particular negative. This man is not Socrates. Some man is not Socrates. So these are the four types of proposition. How the concept of distribution and undistribution applies to those terms of those propositions. So we can draw the following tables. First table, we look at the subject of the proposition. Remember, we have to look either at the subject, either at the predicate. First we look at the subject. The subject of an A proposition is distributed. The subject of an E proposition is distributed. The subject of an I proposition is undistributed. The subject of a no proposition is undistributed. And consequently, we look at the predicate of the proposition, and we see that the predicate of an A proposition is undistributed. The predicate, remember, the predicate of an E proposition is distributed. The predicate of an I proposition is undistributed. The predicate of a no proposition is distributed. So, with these two tables, you can have a clear visualization of the distribution for the subject and for the predicate, according to which proposition you are dealing with. An A proposition, an E proposition, an I proposition, and an O. Now, why this concept of distribution and undistribution is important? Because the first rule of the syllogism, so the first rule to define, to determine, to decide of a valid syllogism says, rule 1, the middle term must be distributed at least once. So you have to understand what the distribution means to apply the first rule. So you have to look at the middle term, and the middle term is the term that occurs in the major and in the minor premise, and you look at it and you see if it's distributed. So it must be distributed at least once. And second rule is a term that is distributed in the conclusion must be distributed in one of the premises. This is also important. So these two rules to decide of a valid syllogism, okay, require that you understand the concept of distribution, okay? And you look at the term that you have to consider. In this case, you have to see if the subject of an A proposition or the predicate of an A proposition, and so on. With the tables I have provided here, you can look quickly at them, but you have to understand that distribution means what? Distribution means that when a term names a class, it must refer to the entire class. If it names a class but does not refer to the entire class, there is no distribution. Okay? Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this has been useful to you, because the concept of distribution is important to decide of a validity of a syllogism. Okay? Thank you. Until the next video, enjoy learning